if you have a 1 for 3, the logic says that that $100,000 mortgage would be $33,000, and a $100,000 salary would be $33,000, and all the other debts that you have would be written down from 10 to 3. But there's no guarantee of that. We just don't know until we get there. And it all depends on who's running the government and whether we have the kind of government we have now. Because at the rate we're going, if we don't pass Ron Paul's bill to audit and investigate the Fed and don't get rid of the Fed, then we're screwed anyway. It's over. Because the only other way you can do it is clear Congress, because they're all crooks, with minor exception. And so those are the two cogs in the wheel. If that doesn't happen, you're going to have revolution. So you won't have to worry about any debt. You're going to worry about what am I going to eat next and who's going to try to kill me because I got some food here or whatever. And so that's where this society is headed. And it's the only answer I have because I don't know. All I can do is use logic. And so I think that's where we're headed, and I don't know whether they will use that logic or not.
Well, you answered her next question, will personal debt be forgiven? And then she goes on to say, if not, how can we best hold on to our assets and properties as the banks try to take them?
There's only one way, my child.
Yes, it is.
Gold and silver is the only way to preserve your wealth. And if you think it's any other way, you're crazy. I do have people who are wealthy, who have liquid assets of, we'll say, from $1 million upward, and they do hold Canadian and Swiss franc bonds because they want some liquidity and they got a pile of money. And I can understand that. That's okay. I wouldn't do that myself if I had that kind of money, but that's okay. And but the average person should start out by buying coins, and if they, let's say you accumulate $100,000 worth of coins, maybe you might want to get some stocks to try to enhance your return. And that's it. There is nothing else.
And I just want to say this, too. I talked to a gentleman, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and he had quite a bit of funds to spend. And he was going to buy like $5,000 worth of gold. And I told him, I said, you know what, there is really no point in buying $5,000 in gold when you have $250,000 in stock. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, that $5,000...
In the regular market?
Pardon?
In the regular stock market?
It was mixed. It was mixed. And it's just like, you know, there's no point. I mean, the gold is not going to do anything for you.
Not that little amount?
Not that little amount with a large amount of exposure.
In respect to the total.
With the amount of exposure that he had to shares. And it's like, so, but it was also the prime example why I mentioned he was scared to take possession of gold. And it's just like, well...
These are like people who won't buy guns.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not going to be there to save your life when some thug comes in. I was just reading. I just reading the latest edition of the Arizona Republic. A 90-year-old woman, some guy kicked a door in, broke her arm, beat her up. 90 years old, mind you, and then robs her house. Well, you know, if little old lady had a 357 or a 38, you know, just firing a round off would have got the guy out of the house. You know, even if you fire it through the ceiling. I mean, you know, when people who are bad hear a gun go off, they want to get out of there because it makes noise, and all the neighbors will know, and they'll be chasing them down the street with their AK-47s. So there are people who won't buy a gun, and you got to be prepared to die. That's your choice. Well, it's the same thing with coins. You've got to take that risk and put them in your safe. And don't put all your guns in your safe. Make sure you got some of them around.
Keep one out.
And, well, let me tell you something. When I lived in the United States, for years, I had a gun loaded in every room.
I do too. Yeah.
And
Yep.
I coached children, and I had hundreds of kids all those years in Malibu go through my house. The kids would sleep over and all this kind of stuff. I would tell them, you touch that gun, you're going to die. And not one of them ever touched a gun. And they were right in plain view.
And people say to me, well, why don't you put your gun away when people come over? If you have a guest or something, do you put your gun away? I said, no.
Why?
I mean, if it bothers them,
it's there to protect everybody against bad people.
If it bothers them, they don't have to come. We'll be right back.
That's right.
After this short.
They can get down the bar down the street.
And it is Monday. We are live today. It is the 12th of October, 2009. Thank you for joining us once again. I'm Melody Cedarstrom, 1-800-375-4188. For all your gold and silver coin needs here at Discount Gold and Silver. And, of course, for your complimentary issue to the International Forecaster, you can give us a call. And, Bob, would you like to tell us about the International Forecaster, please?
Well, the forecast is about business, finance, economic, social, political issues all over the world. We produce an email copy on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and it runs around 40 pages each time. We have a hard copy that goes out twice a month for those who are not on the Internet. And if you'd like the free introductory copy, you can go to our site, theinternationalforecaster.com. That's theinternational, FORECASTER.com. You can email us, especially if you have a question. That address is Bob, B-O-B, at INTFORECASTER.com, Bob at intforecaster.com, and then, of course, there is
1-800-375-4188 for your complimentary issue to the International Forecaster. And, of course, all your gold and silver coins here. We got some great prices, and prices are beginning to move up. You can earn a free subscription to the International Forecaster by purchasing coins here at Discount Gold and Silver. So give us a call, 800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188. And folks, remember, if you're hearing people push foreign gold, and they'll oftentimes just call them fractional, like quarter ounce or fifth ounce, remember, they're not a true quarter, they're not a true fifth. And, of course, I guess if you're buying one or two, it doesn't make that much difference. But if you're purchasing a significant amount, it really does. So, again, just give us a call at 800-375-4188. Here's a question in. This gentleman went to a coin shop to purchase rounds, silver rounds, and a gold eagle coin. He says as they went to purchase it, they asked him to see his state ID. Is this normal practice? And if so, what is the reason for this?
What state was he in?
He doesn't specify.
Well, I heard of that happening in Nevada. Where else? No place else. The only time I've heard of that. They just tell him to take a hike. You say, I'll bring my business elsewhere.
No. Well, you know.
Go to Melody. She doesn't want to know anything.
No. You know, it's, I mean, any business can do whatever they want. I mean, it's their right to, if they want to ask ID and so forth. Things are getting a little strange out there, and with the passage of the Patriot Act, there are certain requirements, and I don't know if your walk-in stores are any different, but there's lots of places to buy gold and silver. This is in from Martin. He said they would officially, you said that they would officially devalue the dollar. Why not just let the dollar go down slowly on the market?
Well, that will precede that, and that will force them to devalue officially. I mean, if you've had the euro at 124, you had it go down to 71.18. It went back up to 89.5, and now it's back down to approximately 76. It'll go to 71.18. It'll be broken. There'll be probably some support around 60, 65, then again at 55, and I think it goes somewhere between 40 and 55. And so that's all going to happen preceding official devaluation, and it's coming. And that's why the only place to be is gold. I mean, you don't want to have dollars. You just don't, because they're going to get devalued. No, you can make up that devaluation by owning gold, because gold will go up, because people buying gold know that there's going to be a devaluation. I mean, the same thing with the shares. They'll go up too. So that's the place to be.
Well, here's a guy, and this question is always popping up